Thank you, Alhaji. You have written the press, released the press. Now we are going on to question and answer. So when the question and answer is going on, anybody in the family has the right to answer your questions. Maybe in doing the answer of questions, I am also able to bring in the principle of fundamental rights that the accusation has caused the family. Thank you very much. Any question from the press?
I have a question.
Okay.
So I would like to take you back to the paragraph 2 of the statement.
Paragraph
2, the second paragraph.
Okay, sir.
Now, the exclusion of Ajose and Osu Olowu. Yes, what was the declaration and what were the events that led to the declaration? That's number one. And secondly, the declaration was made in 1975.
Yes, sir.
We are in 2021. Why now? The space between then and now. So why are they speaking now?
Anybody to answer that question? Okay, sir.
I will answer that question. The first question is that the declaration. I will start with the second question. You said the declaration was done in 1975.
I did not state as contained in the statement.
Yeah. We doesn't know when the declaration was made. It was when we got to find out what is happening in Obaship in the declaration. We went to chieftaincy affair. That is where we now detect that they've done the declaration. Initially, we were with them. Our own father died in 1972, and the declaration was done in 1975, which means the declaration has not been done before the death of our father. That means after our father, they went and done the declaration. Now, when they are doing this declaration, they're supposed to have called everybody if what they are doing is right and if what they are doing is not fraud. They're supposed to have called every members of the family, but they did not. And when they want to do declaration is supposed to have been done in the vicinity of the community, but we don't know where they did it. So that can enable us not to know when and where they did it. But when you are in the community, there always be some times when you will be patient, and there will always be a times when we will just see these people are cheating. In 2005, before 2005, we went to Oba Fatai Aileru. That's our father, that is Alhaji Said Osu Olowu. We went to him to ask him, what is he doing? Is he not going to give us our own right? He gave Alhaji Said Osu Olowu, he gave him 5,000, which we rejected. We asked him to take it back, that we don't want it.
What year? That was in 2005.
That was around 1980. Yes, 80s. We told him we don't want the money, which the money was taken back to him. Ever since then, he did not do anything. In the 90s, we had a meeting. We decided to challenge the Oba, that let him come and tell us what is going on. But on the process, he arranged a policeman to arrest those people during the meeting. That was where we start the quarrel. We now went to court. In 2005, we went to court. We started the case. The case lasted us for years. We got the judgment on the 2nd October 2018. So it was after the judgment. We now said, we are fighting this Oba upon the dues that are supposed to come to us. But what of where he was sitting down? Can't we penetrate? Then we now look down to where he was sitting. That this place he was sitting belongs also to us. That was what led us to the chieftaincy affair. That is where we now get to know that the declaration they made is just 2 houses. Have I answered your question? Okay.
My name is Kenya.
Okay.
I represent Ojuwoye and Asesewon.
Okay.
At the same time, I report for Sky News.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, my question is your name and the family you are representing, sir.
Okay, sir.
And when did the harassment and illegal of arrest began?
Okay. Okay.
My name is Kuma Christy. I represent People African TV. From what you said on the 20th of October 2018.
Yeah. On the 2nd.
On the 2nd of October 2018,
Yeah.
went to court.
Yeah, we got a judgment. We got the judgment.
Do you have the sample? Do you have a copy of that judgment?
We have it.
Okay, I think we should know the judgment. We should have to see the sample of the copy of that judgment. Thank you very much.
Okay. Now to Iwe Iroyin Asejiri, to your question. My name is Alpha Fatai Saula Idowu from Osu Olowu family. Am I okay? And again?
The harassment.
When did it start? Now the harassment started as soon as we take the judgment. When we got the judgment in the 2018, on the second day we were jubilating. You know the word jubilation come for someone that win. Maybe you win anything. Maybe you win a jackpot or whatever. You must jubilate. When we are jubilating, there is a boy, Akim no case. He's part of them. He's one of the family. Started challenging our people, though I wasn't there. Started challenging them, beating them. When he was beating them, then, and on the second day when I came back, and I said, we should take the matter to the police. We now went to Oloso police station, which I know very, very well that it is their station. Whatever you take to that police station will never be implemented. Because it's their station. But I took the matter there. On getting there, they take our statement, whatever. I now come back home. When I got to my house, he was bluffing that if we should do any party, we will kill, we will do whatever, But on that day, that was around 10 o'clock. I now went upstairs. It was that upstairs that I heard a voice. He escaped, broken bottles with his gang. He went away. With that, I now see that we should not sit down and fold our house. We are the judgment creditor. Why should we fold our arms and sit down? We now take the matter up. We write a petition to Alagbon. When we got to Alagbon invited them. When Alagbon invited them, they went there. Akim doesn't surface. Akim does not surface. He ran away. But when they came, they were doing all this, they believe they are in the post, in the power. They are using the power, incumbency power. Now, we went to the when we got to Alagbon instruct some policemen to follow us. We couldn't find them. Then, in the judgment, it was declared that Ojuwoye is a communal land and that nobody should pay. They should not collect rent or any source of money from any tenants. They should not. But they are still collecting the money. So policemen have to arrest those people working on the site. That was where we now started the confrontation. They will kill, they will do whatever, they will do whatever, they will do whatever. So that was 2018. That was on the 3rd of 2018. Have I answered your question?
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a little to say.
Good afternoon.
My name is Taiwo Abilu. I report for PM Express in Lagos. I have 3 questions to ask this honorable citizen. One of it is that you mentioned in your speech that the family got a judgment on 2nd of October 2018.
Yeah.
Can you explain more about this judgment and what is the purpose? What is those grievances that the court gave to you?
Baba, Shemata.
That's one. Then, at the point of time that you discover the fraudulent omission of your family from the chieftaincy tools, what effort have you been making in terms of official engagement of the government to seek redress concerning these fraudulent activities at the Ministry of Chieftaincy Affairs? Then thirdly, looking at the struggle from the beginning till now, can you just give us a rough estimate of the cost in terms of monetary values that these have cost the family?
Okay. Take it down.
Another question.
Let me quickly answer him. First and foremost, you said we should give you brief something on the judgment. The judgment goes like this. Said, the Oba has been given perpetual injunction from collecting rents, leasing, subletting from tenant, from anybody, either himself, his agent, or his previce, should not collect anything. Administratively, he has been sanctioned. Secondly, it was said in the judgment that he should go back and form committee that will comprise every members of the family, each. Thirdly, it was mentioned in the judgment that he should go and rendered account of his stewardship from 79 to date. Am I okay? Yeah. The second question, can you let me? Okay. You asked 3 questions.
Yeah, thank you,
The question those questions I asked will really give us in a very good position to write our
Yeah. Thank you, Alaji, for...
The second question is, have you been making approach to the government concerning the fraudulent omission of the families from the funds?
No, because we have not, until when we requested for the declaration from chieftaincy affair. That was when we know that this is fraud. That was what brought this sitting.
Yeah. The issue is, let me put the human rights angle to this matter. Because we are activists, and before we come and call the press conference, we should be able to back up the press conference with fundamental rights that is enshrined in the Constitution. For the beginning, according to them, let me quote, according to them, they are running bad stewardship, not Oba's stewards. At that time, there are 6 families who are rotating the battleship chieftaincy council at that time. But when it comes to 1975, according to them, only 2 out of that 6 were declared in their declarations to become an Oba in that Ojuwoye chieftaincy stool. And at that time, they cried, but their cry was not heard. Basically because they don't have substantial evidence to prove that their family has been excluded, as he has excluded their own generation now. It must not exclude the next coming generation. That is why they are here.
Another question.
Any other question? Any other question? No. Can we call it a day?
Is this one on board?
No, this is the receipt. Receipt you need to collect. Well, since we will use the opportunity, I think Alaji, please, vote of thank before I hand up. We hear your voice. It's the head of the family, so let me give us a vote of thank.
All pressmen and all families here, I make my statement that today's afternoon for our press conference, and we appeal to you pressmen to let us assist us of all what we have been saying to you, to please help us to expose all these malpractices. So we thank you all. So everybody will reach home by the grace of God. So that is what I want to contribute to. So that's it.
The take-home message here is that we want the judgment of the press and the general public to ensure that justice prevails on this matter, according to the state government to review the declaration so that there will be peace, harmony, and tranquility in Mushin, so that there will be no crisis and there will be no anarchy. So that shows that since the family has been very gentle, there will be no abiding, they have not been causing crisis, but they now find out that they have been shooted. And if the shooting continues, it may lead to crisis and anarchy. So to avoid all those crises and anarchy, we are calling the governor to do the needful as earlier as possible. God help us all. Have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you are set. It's a dress.
Thank you.
Huh?
Try.